Saya Pranajaya from I'm a student from English Education University Muhammadiyah University of Bengkulu. Di sini di video ini saya ingin terlebih dahulu ingin menyampaikan doa-doa dan meminta keselamatan terhadap orang-orang dan penduduk-penduduk di seluruh dunia yang terkena virus corona. Ini ironi dan semoga semua orang bisa stay in home walaupun ekonomi orang berbeda-beda seperti saya yang di desa dan kami yang di sini tidak mendapat bantuan sama sekali dan semua bahan-bahan pokok menjadi mahal dan karet atau sawit tidak ada harganya, tapi kami tetap bertahan untuk stay from home. Dan untuk orang-orang yang di luar yang melihat video saya, semoga lebih tegar lagi di rumah. Kegabutan nggak apa-apa, walaupun berminggu-minggu, semoga bisa lagi membuka bisnis atau sekolah untuk dilanjutkan dengan sebagaimana mestinya dan tidak terlalu menyalahkan terhadap pemerintah. Lockdown itu bisa dimulai dari rumah sendiri-sendiri, dan semoga kita bisa semangat untuk menghadapi virus corona dengan diam di rumah. Back to the topic for my assignment that I will tell about affirmative and negative side about coronavirus. Saya Pranajaya, the student of Muhammadiyah University English Education of Bengkulu, and this is a task from my assignment to Mem Ririn Ananda. I will talking about affirmative and negative sides of coronavirus. So remember, this just raining. In the last few days, most Americans, even President Trump, have come to terms with the need for social distancing. Should they feel fine, they are staying home and developing new routines, killing time baking, binge watching, figuring out how to school their kids. It took far too long for Americans to accept how serious the coronavirus is. Now that we have finally taken necessary measures in many places to close school, office, restaurants, and other business, people are asking, how soon will it all be over? 2 weeks? 4 weeks? When can we go back to normal? This is a negative side. Unfortunately, normal is a long way off. We need to be thinking in terms of months, not weeks. We need to stop picturing that ubiquitous flatten the curve chart and start imagining a roller coaster. Social distancing works as China, South Korea, and other countries have demonstrated. It is possible to slow the spread of the virus and limit how many people are infected at one time. This will keep hospitals from being overwhelmed with patients so that those who are sick can be treated competently and compassionately. It will also give research time to work on developing vaccines and medicines that could reduce the severity of the virus and save lives. No one knows for sure how long social distancing will have to last to reduce the spread to near zero. But if South Korea and China are appropriate exemplars, we will need to stay apart now for at least 8 weeks, and maybe more. China locked down Wuhan and other cities in Hubei province on January 23. Today, provincial officials are reporting few or no new cases of the virus. Just a few days ago, they closed the last of their 16 massive emergency hospitals. Consequently, restrictions are easing. Schools and offices are slowly opening. People are beginning to go out and see other people. The timeline suggests that your kids are not going back to school on April 1, nor are you returning to the office or catching a movie anytime soon. Plan for social distancing at least until mid or late May, and be thankful if it eases off earlier. What can we expect when Americans slowly emerge from their homes? Like much about this novel virus, we don't know for sure. A likely scenario is that there will be subsequent waves of the disease. That's what happened in Denver in the 19, 1918 influenza pandemic and in Toronto during the 2003 SARS outbreak. Over the next few months, South Korea, China, and other countries will generate some relevant evidence to show how this might play out. Many people desperately hope that warmer, more humid weather will decrease the transmission of this coronavirus. But the reality is that influenza and most cold virus went in the summer in part because so many people catch them in the winter. Humans have never been infected with this coronavirus before. So there is no acquired immunity. At this point, we have woefully little evidence to suggest a seasonal reprieve. We assume that people who are infected and they recover, whether they develop symptoms or not, will most likely become immune and will not transmit to the virus in the future. True, it is possible, as with other types of coronavirus, that mild infection might not provide full immunity in the short term or lifelong immunity. And this is the affirmative sides. The irony of successful social distancing is that fewer will develop immunity. That means that social distancing 2.0, 3.0, and who knows, maybe even 4.0 will very likely have to occur. The next round of social distancing will be active more rapidly because officials and the public will be more prepared. It should also be shorter because we can assume that most of the people who were initially infected are likely to be immune next time around. But it will still disrupt people's lives and the economy. We will still have cancelled conferences and sporting events. People will not frequent restaurants and will not travel. The service industry will be severely curtailed, and it's going to happen again and again. Maybe the best analogy is pumping a car's brakes on an icy road. Either doing nothing or slamming on the brakes leads to an accident. So we pump the brakes, pushing on the brakes, then easing up, and then applying them again. And after 3 or 4 times you slow down enough to stop. When will the coronavirus be tamed like influenza? If not conquered like smallpox, a vaccine will need to be administered to an estimate 45% to 70% of the population, at least 145 million people, to stop the spread of the virus. If we are lucky and an effective vaccine is quickly developed, this could happen by the fall of 2021. It might even be sooner if researchers can come up with an effective treatment that, in addition to preventing deaths, reduce the infectiousness of each case. One antiviral drug, remdesivir, has shown promise in treating monkeys infected with a similar coronavirus and is being studied in humans. Trials of other drugs will begin soon. Again, if we are lucky, these trials may identify one or more effective treatments in 4 to 5 months. The alternative to this roller coaster will be even more drastic. It will require sustaining social distancing until there are no more cases whatsoever, and then closing borders to all travelers, not contact with the outside world for 18 months or more. While the United States and many other countries like Denmark and Germany have instituted travel bans, sailing the country off for over a year until a coronavirus vaccine is discovered seems implausible. But who knows, if the situation becomes dire enough, the previously impossible could become inevitable. On a positive note, it's time the virus research after social distancing is relaxed. It will do so more slowly, but the flat curve we are all hoping for, the one that is so critical to our health care infrastructure, will not actually be flat. It is more likely to be a series of ascents and descents, with damped oscillations. So all of us, healthcare workers, policymakers, and American citizens, need to get ready for a bumpy ride. Thank you.